Good evening, everybody. Hi, I'm Shelly from Illinois Gender Advocates, and no, you're not seeing double tonight. It's actually somebody here with me. Jim Hardigan, thank you for coming tonight. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
And Jim is from Equality, Illinois.
That's right.
And we will be talking tonight a little bit about the Civil Union Bill and a couple other things. But I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. I want to remind everybody that we are on every third Friday of the month. They used to have us rambling around like hobos sometimes, but now we're stuck in this one slot. So I want to thank you all for coming to see us tonight. And remember, this is a live talking show. So if this is your first time to view us, that number on the screen is who you can You can reach both of us here, Shelly and Jim. And tonight, with Jim being here, we're going to talk a little bit about the Civil Union Bill, okay, and anything else you want to you want to speak about. I do want to say too, what we were talking before the show about the Equality Gala that I was at last month. It was very nice, very well done.
Thank you.
The food was great, the music was great, all the people were great. So I'm looking forward to next year. That was my first time there. Okay, so
Thank you.
I heard a lot of people telling us about it a couple years. They said, "You've got to go, you've got to go," and this is the first time. So I had a blast, and to me. There's like several things I look forward to every year. One's the Be All, and then we have a Sheila D. picnic, and now I add the Equality Illinois Gala to my list of things that I love to do. So I really want to thank you and everybody that is at Equality Illinois. I mean, you guys do so much for us, and it's really can't say how much I personally appreciate the things you do for us. So
thank you,
because we have a hard time being trans in the community, and we need people like you to stand up and fight for us and everybody. So I hope I'm not embarrassing you, Jim, but
we're proud to do it, and
it's
we're
really
one
nice
community.
I'm glad to hear that. But anyway, and our phones tonight, we have Patricia. So let's get started then. So, okay, Jim, I'm a little confused myself about the Civil Union Bill. Can you want to explain? You were, and before we get to it, you were one of the writers of the bill, right?
Yeah,
okay.
I had the pleasure of working with State Representative Greg Harris to draft the legislation. The Civil Union Bill is an exciting bill because it would allow couples, both same-sex couples and different-sex couples, to access some of the rights and privileges and benefits that today are currently limited only to couples in a marriage. And as you know, because same-sex couples can't marry, and many different-sex couples refrain from marrying, such as senior citizens whose Social Security benefits that they rely on to live might be lowered if they were to get remarried. So as a result, they live their lives without any legal protection or recognition for their relationship. And so the nice thing about the Civil Union Bill is that it allows these couples to have a modicum of respect in the law, and more importantly, to have the rights and benefits that most couples take for granted. So we're very excited and proud about it, and the bill is going to pass in the coming year. I'm confident.
Good, that's great. And it's been a long time coming too, I think, for this bill, isn't it? You had a lot of work to do?
Well, yeah, I think Equality Illinois worked for a number of years to get the non-discrimination bill in Illinois, the amendment to the Illinois Human Rights Act that prohibits discrimination in employment and housing and public accommodation. Well, unfortunately, there is still discrimination with respect to our couples and our families, and so this bill will begin to remedy that. And although the state may not yet be ready to embark upon marriage equality, this bill is an important step in the right direction, and it will show that Illinoisans are fair-minded and ready to treat everyone fairly.
Now, this bill does not step on anybody's religious toes or anything like that, right?
No, actually, when we wrote the bill, we included a specific provision that says no church, no religious person shall be required to perform civil union ceremonies, so that it would ensure that every church, as is required under the First Amendment, has the right to make the decision for itself. And so we're very proud to include that in the legislation.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. Okay, so then this is this, I mean, this is a stupid question, but is this just for LGBT people, or would this benefit everybody? And that's, I mean, heterosexual people, and not just the senior citizens, but suppose they were young people too. Would that benefit them in a way?
Well, I mean, my view, the more we do to show that same-sex couples and their families are treated with legitimacy, I think it helps a lot young people, because it allows them, when they're growing up and they're frightened and scared because they think nobody accepts them, to know that there are couples that the law recognizes, that the law treats as legitimate. And so it will will begin to shape how young LGBT people think about themselves.
Okay.
And they will begin to know, I can grow up to be a productive member of society. If I want a family, I can have a family. If I want a significant other, I can have a significant other. And we will be protected under law. So for me, this bill is going to be a great thing for the young and the old.
Okay, so it's kind of like shaping the future. Then I would see what you're saying. Okay, what in your in your experience, what would you say is the most important thing about the bill right now? I mean, if you could pick, say, if you had to pick one aspect about it, I mean, would it be the financial thing?
I think it's the fact that no court has ordered Illinois to embark on this legislation, unlike some other states where courts have made an order. In this instance, the people have demanded it. The legislators are beginning to come around and act on it. And so I'm very proud that this will be a totally democratic, with a small d, not the party, but democratic measure.
Okay. All right, thank you. Patricia's saying we have a caller here, I believe. Okay.
He's online.
Okay. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Hi. Thanks for
nice
calling.
to be watching your show.
Okay.
Thanks for listening. My question is this: does the civil union bill that you're talking about, does that confer family status on a couple, either heterosexual or same-sex?
Okay, family status. Okay.
Yeah. For instance, the reason I'm asking is because there are some. I think Section 8 has some scattered site housing that are eligible only for families. And you get a house, in kind of a unit with larger sizes, more, and it's sometimes they can be, for instance, I'm disabled. I would have disabled capability with it, there would be easy access for me, but I'd have somebody there during my disability. If I was considered a family, I'd be eligible for more space, and space is kind of a concern of mine.
Sure.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, well, let me say a few things. I mean, this is an important issue. One thing to note is that the civil union bill only changes state and local law. So to the degree any housing restrictions are based on state and local law, and that they provide certain housing for families, then yes, I think this bill would accommodate families with same-sex couples or civil unionized couples. One thing to know, though, however, is that this bill will not change federal law. And today, federal law only recognizes one man, one woman in marriage as a spouse or as a marriage under federal law. And so, unfortunately, for Section 8 housing, that might be an intersection of federal and state law. So the most important thing we can do is to pass the bill, try and make sure that you get the housing that you need. And then if landlords want to make a fight over it by saying that federal law doesn't require them to give it, well, then that's the time where we either try and get federal law changed to be more inclusive of LGBT families. But it's examples like that that will get it changed. And I think once we show that as a state and all of the cities and towns in Illinois can take care of our families, all our families, I think any legal impediment that will be there will surely drop. Because this is so important to so many people. And I think it's one of those things that once it passes and once we have civil unions, it won't be very long before people think, well, what was the big deal? What was the problem?
That's probably
what is the difference between marriage and civil union? Can you explain that to us?
Sure.
That'll be my last question.
Sure.
Sure. Thanks for calling.
Absolutely. Well, once civil unions begin in Illinois, there will still be some important differences. For example, if you're a married couple, your marriage is respected in every state. No matter where you travel, you're essentially afforded all the rights and benefits under other state law that you would be under the state where you were married. Civil unions don't yet have that. They're not portable in the same way. And so that means that you will have protections within Illinois, but if you go to Michigan, Indiana, Wisconsin, across our borders, you won't have those same rights and benefits because those states don't yet have civil unions under their law. So that's one important difference. Another difference is that federal law will not recognize civil unions. Federal law, today at least, only recognizes one man, one woman marriages for any kind of relationship recognition.
All right. Is that so? This whole thing with the civil union bill, the ultimate goal, hopefully, then would be to get this to the federal level, and so, like you're saying, it would be recognized in every state then.